What is up, everybody? I'm back with another case. Hey, listen, it's been a while since I've gotten on the channel with an awesome agency. So I've got Edwin Morales here with me. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, excited for you to be here. And what I'm doing this year, if you're watching this video, first, thank you for subscribing and being a part of the channel. This is where we bring the real in terms of what it takes to build an agency, grow an agency. And so I'm going to bring in some of our top agencies from UpHex, and we're just going to talk very hat in hand on how they're doing it, what their models are, what they're doing to build their agencies with the end goal that you can do the same thing. So, Edwin's a top guy here in on Team UpHex, and he's built an awesome agency. And so he's here to kind of spill a little bit of tea. But before we do that, Edwin, how about a little bit, give us a 1-minute intro, your background, agency background, and kind of what brought you here. And we'll start there if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a really wild background. I was in the military, came out of the military. I was a cop for 3 years or 4 years, I can't even remember. And then I went into the gym business, believe it or not.
You
Got
look
rid
like
of
all
the
of those things, by the way.
I know, that's hilarious. Right. And then I got rid of the physical fitness aspect of things, got into web designing, got into lead generation,
Yeah.
and then got into a completely different industry of insurance. Right? I started with Medicare and then went into life insurance and so forth. So technically what we have today, I actually built with a partner, right, Colin, but we built it for ourselves,
That's the
first.
best
And
one.
then,
Yeah, those are the best ones.
yeah, yeah, we built it for ourselves. And then at one point, we decided to share it with the rest of that space, that industry.
Yeah, that's
That's the
exactly what
short
we did at
version.
UpHex. That's the short version, but that's exactly what we did at UpHex. UpHex was originally not meant to be a software that we resold to agencies.
Mhm.
But as soon as we made that first webinar and, we had like 53 people buy during
Mhm.
the webinar, and I'd never had that before. As soon as we did that, we're like, this model might be the thing that people really need. So, but yeah, it was there originally to scratch our own itch. We were tired of launching ads manually. I mean, all the stuff that obviously about UpHex, but less about me, more about you. So let's talk about, tell us where you're at in terms of, describe your agency in terms of revenue, and kind of what the day-to-day is like before we jump too far into the how you did it.
Yeah, perfect. Right. Have technically two tiers. We have three, but one of them is like a Spanish only tier. The other two are the major ones. So we really have like a two-tier version
Got it.
of what we offer, right? We do offer it with the combination of HighLevel and UpHex. Um, I'm in the life insurance industry, right? My client is the life insurance agent and agencies. So an agency that has 20, 30, 40, 50 agents, whatever, can have access to what we provide them, right? Um, you know, it 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 at the beginning it was slow, like everybody else, guys. I know Sam digs into having a niche, and he's completely correct. We got lucky too, where I can easily get into the life insurance industry because I knew it. I knew what they suffer. I knew their pain points. I knew Facebook very well. And then we just decided to combine the world of, HighLevel with the world of UpHex and Facebook. And we took off from there. We took off from there. Um, and I don't know if to call it low ticket or high ticket. We right now are anywhere between 297 and 497. Few agents or few other people might be a little higher depending on their ad spend as well, right?
Yeah.
And how many ads they want to run.
Are you guys doing rebilling?
There are some customers that do rebilling, but we're
Okay.
typically they have their own Facebook ads manager.
I said that because you had said that some of our clients are more based on how much how much their budget is. But do you just charge a higher
Yeah.
flat fee
Yeah.
then?
Correct. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, cool. So 297 to 497. And then if you have somebody that's just, really getting aggressive, then you'll do some bespoke pricing.
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
The insurance niche is a good niche, and it's interesting. So I want to touch on 2 points. The first thing is, if you guys have been watching this YouTube channel for any length of time, you've been to any of our workshops, you've been in our community, yes, I will never relent. I will never pull my thumb off of the button that is pick a sub niche, because if you get that one move right? It's kind of like if you're wanting to build a house and you're like, listen, I know how to build like walls. I know how to frame. Just throw it on the ground. Okay, you might have some walls up. I mean, when we were kids, we would put forts up and stuff, but you couldn't live in it, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the same thing. You ain't gonna have a good agency if you don't have a sub niche. So that's a point that if
Yeah.
you're watching this and you're trying to build an agency, don't sleep on that. And if you're having problems like, hey, my offers don't work, my ads don't work, nobody wants to talk to me, I get clients, I lose them, whatever. If those things are happening, it likely stems back to having no niche.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. And
and
I
then
mean,
you
there's
talked about,
macro niches. Like there's macro niches, but I like you said, it's a sub niche. I call them a micro niche because
yeah,
some people think, construction is a niche. Yeah, sure. But how many niches are in that construction niche? Right?
well,
It's like,
it's as much for your ads to work and things like that. That's one side of the argument. It's even more important for your positioning as an agency to work, right?
yeah,
Because you have to think you're an insurance. Do you know how many agencies in UpHex are doing insurance?
many.
Many. I don't
Many.
personally, I don't know what the exact number is. It's got to be hundreds.
Oh
It's got to
yeah.
be hundreds.
Oh yeah, I
Yet
know.
you still have you have a thriving business, and so do many
Mhm.
of them. Why? Because you position yourselves different, right?
And
And uh,
just
go
to
ahead.
add on what you're saying right there, right? The sub niching makes you look like an expert
That's
in
right.
that niche. Because if you decide to like be very broad, you'll be an expert at nothing. And that's
Yeah.
what people are going to look at you like.
And the funny thing is the temptation. And this is why this is why agencies stick in the not pick a niche um, camp for a long time. They feel like they're losing out on opportunities. Like,
Mhm.
I just shrunk my market too much. There's not enough. And the opposite is happening. You're not getting opportunities because nobody's sitting there saying, oh yeah, those are the guys that do final expense, right? Or those are the guys that do whole life and with financial planning or whatever, like the different things, right? You
Right.
can tell I sold some insurance for like a month, bro. Many moons ago. But
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me about the getting clients. Now, you have a bit of a unique position because, and this agencies always do well when they do this, by the way. You were your own client
Correct.
first.
Yeah.
So in terms of getting over the hump and getting that first bit of revenue, that probably, I'm guessing that wasn't your challenge so much.
Oh no,
It
it was
was
still a
more,
challenge. Still a
go ahead.
challenge. I think it was still a challenge because, um, first of all, high level and UpHex was definitely when we were getting into it was a newer concept to the marketing industry, right? But regardless, um, no one trusted the method yet, and many. Oh, here's the other one. Many, which is has nothing to do with it, but many agents were still doing face to face, and we were heading towards the virtual side of the life insurance industry, right? So no one quote unquote knew how to do it. They were afraid of doing it,
Yeah.
you know? So we had to go down that barrier and say, hey, no, you can do it. You can do it. You just got to put both feet into it. It's not try to do it. Listen, the insurance industry works. You know, it works. Look at every building you see outside has some type of insurance company name on it, right?
Yeah.
But um, that was the hardest part. It was giving the belief and changing the mindset of the client, my client, right, the life insurance agent, that they can do it. That trust the process, results are inevitable.
When you say they could do it, do you mean they were hesitant to launch their own ads, or what part were they resistant
They
to?
they were well, because we were pitching going virtual, right? In other words, phone
Oh,
call.
the sales
Right?
method. Got it.
Yes, because they were more face to face, right?
Yeah.
That was quote unquote a newer thing, you know, especially 2020 plus, right?
Yeah.
Um, they just were afraid of hitting the button on going virtual,
Okay.
right? I
And
you
now they
know,
love it.
oh, now they don't want to do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
it's like, why
so,
do I
so
want to get in
yeah,
a car or go to a coffee shop or go to the person's house and
yeah.
waste all my time? Yeah, no, that's a big breakthrough.
Yeah. But at
Um,
first, it could have been a little bit challenging in that terms, you know, and technology on top of that, right? Even though technology has been around forever, learning something new for these agents were could have been a challenge,
yeah.
right? Could have been a challenge, but knowing, I guess, you know, in hindsight, knowing that these challenges were coming, we just kept preparing, kept preparing, in order to serve them the best we could so that they stay.
What type of insurance are these people selling? Is it life insurance?
Life insurance, most of, yeah, yeah, about 90+% of my clients are life insurance. We do have very few that do Medicare and all the, you know, the health insurance. Life insurance is our niche. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Um, Getting clients when you started versus getting clients today. Kind of talk to me about your guys' process, how you
Yeah,
prospect, what do you do to get clients?
yeah. And we, you know, in the beginning was a lot of Zoom one-on-one interviews, guys. Like it was just pouring into them, letting them know that we have built it, we've tried it, it's proven, it works. All right.
Okay.
We would get one client. That client would prove itself, and that client would end up talking to all the other agents, and or all the other agents wanted to know what this guy was doing,
Yeah.
right? And everybody would want to jump on to what that guy was doing, and then it
Yeah.
would literally just kept multiplying. But if you know, you get into the space or the industry where you make an example of, it doesn't matter, one client, that's all you need is one, and then you make that story, and then you
Yeah.
let others know, hey, it works. Here's how it worked, right?
Yeah.
And then you have two people, and then four people, and then eight people,
Yeah.
and so forth,
Yeah.
right? A lot. We got a little lucky where a lot of our, almost almost a lot of our clients were word of mouth, right? One client spoke, I'm sorry, one agent spoke with another agent. Hey, what is it that you're doing? And that's a lot of how we grew, believe it or not.
When you um when you would do these Zoom calls, did you position them as strategy calls, as demo calls? How did you position those?
Um, a little bit of both, you know, because it was more of a, I'm gonna say more of a strategy call. Because
Okay.
in my head, you were gonna jump on, right? So we were
Yeah.
already past quote unquote the sale. Hey, let's see. Instead of demo, it's let's see how we can make it happen. Let's make it happen, right? You're already part of my member, right? You're already part of my CRM, my UpHex. But you know, we've shifted from that portion of you know, presenting what we do, right? Because
Yeah.
it was more of like a strategy call
Yeah.
to a demo.
Yeah.
But regardless, now it's now we do a short demo strategy call.
Okay.
Really short
Uh,
demo. I'm talking about 7 minutes, not even 10 minutes sometimes, Q and
oh,
A.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they come in pre-sold or something
They
already.
come
Because
most of the time. Oh my gosh, most of the time, yeah, they come in pre-sold. Again, right? We got lucky that a lot of it is word of mouth. That they see someone making tons of cash, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm at Leads for Life." "Oh, okay, I've heard of them." And then they just end up booking a demo, but it's really just they almost always come pre-sold or already,
yeah,
like, yeah,
I tell
almost
you what, man, word of mouth and proof are
proof.
powerful things. Now, if I'm talking to the person that is pre-proof, right? Like on Shark Tank, they're like, we're pre-revenue. That's like the
Yeah,
euphemism
yeah.
they all use.
Yeah.
Um, you in my mind, you need to think about growing your business in two phases, right? You need to pre-sell and then you need to learn to sell,
Yeah.
right? Now, a lot of people call the pre-selling phase the marketing, and I use pre-selling in the context of our conversation because you want to put opportunities, you want to lead with value. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to lead with a way that a person comes into um, your ecosystem to where they're like, wow, that was you. What they just shared with me, that marketing sold me on an idea I hadn't thought about.
Correct.
Right. And here's what most people do wrong. Most people, and depending on the timing of your marketplace or whatever, if something is brand new, sometimes just going straight to the offer on an ad or something like that, it will get sales. But most of the time, marketing is allowed space. And so what you need to do is pre-sell the idea first. And you pre-sell them on the idea. So I'll give an example, right? When before UpHex, ads were manual, right?
Yeah.
And so if I was an agency that was serving insurance agents, my pitch was, hey, let me get you more ads. I'll run the ads, get you leads. Okay. It's a manual service. You pay me a $2,000 a month retainer, and that's how we're going to do it. When UpHex came in, then we have to pre-sell or market a different position. So if you're a new agency, you're not going to sell, hey, we're going to get you leads. We're going to say, hey, you no longer have to rely on expensive agency retainers. Instead, you can use a software that will do it faster, better, and easier. And of course, save you money every single month. Right.
That's
So
exactly
now
how that's exactly what we do.
that's
That's
exactly what you guys do.
exactly how we paint it, right? It's
Yeah.
you guys, why waste so much time trying to do what you did by yourself on a course,
Yeah.
right? When this is already proven,
That's right.
right? That's literally 100% correct. It's
What's Tommy Boy's quote? Remember Tommy's boy quote? Tommy Boy's quote. You can get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking your head up a bull's butt.
yeah,
But wouldn't you rather take the butcher's word for it? That's taking
for
the
sure.
the, the
That's it.
butcher's word for it. It's like, dude, do you want the T-bone? Yeah. Listen, insurance agents, chiropractors, lawyers, dentists, orthodontists, they don't want to learn ads.
No.
They also don't want to pay expensive agency retainers, right? And in 2015, when I started doing ads, they were okay with that because it was, that's what the option was. But as time goes by, they have all of these behaviors where like, oh man, agencies, I waste money on ads all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then you reposition it like this and like, oh, yeah, that sounds right. You
Yeah.
know, uh, that's awesome. So you guys are that's how you're positioning it. Your monthly recurring revenue is like 50,000 monthly
Yeah.
recurring. Is that about right?
Yep. Right there. I'm
That's pretty,
hanging on that.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, a lot of agencies can't get past. Did you guys have kind of like these areas to where getting to 10,000 was hard, but then once you did it, you're like, boom, you have those kind of resistance? Yeah.
I think the first, what do you think? The first probably 15 grand was the hardest.
Right.
That was hard. It was
Yeah.
like no sleep, No money for us, right? No money for us, no money for anybody, right? But um that was the hardest part. After 15, it's like we started breathing a little bit, and we're like, now we're getting the hang of it. Period. We were getting good at sales, right? We are getting good at presentation. We were starting to get word of mouth. Um, and then after that, we really just took off. We really just took off.
Yeah. When you guys were doing to get to the $15,000 mark, were you using UpHex yet, or were you mostly?
Yes, we were using UpHex, but I think I really, this is going to be funny, but our favorite word was yes. Okay.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, our favorite words. Oh yeah, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. And we're like, what the hell are we doing?
Why are we doing that?
Yeah. I was like, why am I saying yes? This is stupid.
Oh
So
my gosh.
you spend so much time on the yeses that really mean nothing, right? That you're just spending time on, and by the time you finish it, you're like, man, I really just should have said no. So we've learned so well to say the correct way of saying no, right? What you're doing now is good, but this is better,
Yeah.
right? And we're now my favorite word is the correct way of saying no strategically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel myself having to do very similar things with
Mhm.
agencies. I'm like, listen, you can chase all those other things. You can build people websites. That's fine. You can do that.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that people will always pay you for. They will always pay you to get them more customers. There's always going to be a need for that, right? And most local businesses don't have a flood, an adequate supply of people going to their website. So they get nothing from their website, right? It's the same thing that Russell Brunson used to say. It's like basically most businesses have a brochure that nobody looks at,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so we bring in, hey, listen, I can't SEO you up in whatever length of time for you to get a predictable sales volume, but I
Mm.
can run ads and we can purchase as many eyeballs as you want.
Correct. Yep.
You interested?
That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's
People
it.
will always pay for that. And so for me, I'm always like, listen, in the agency community, there are so many things that we get distracted by. But if you think, hold on, I'm trying to get insurance agents leads for life insurance. What do I need to do just that?
Yep.
Right? Then all the other stuff is kind of BS. It's like,
Yep.
just get it out of here.
Let
If
me
it's
let
not,
me let me add to this one. I love it because we when we first started, and I know where I got this from, but I wanted to have the largest library of, I still do, right? The largest library of life insurance ads we can have.
yeah,
And we do have it. The funny thing is we have it, but we run about 10. You understand what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean.
we probably have 200 ads, and really we narrow everything down to like 10 to 12 ads that we know work, and that's it. And the other ones are there, right? They're there,
Yep.
and every once in a while we'll launch one and see how it does. But it's like, guys, it's not a lot, right? You don't need a lot. You need.
You, you need, so what's funny? Um, I don't know if you've heard me talk about this, but when we first started UpHex, we had UpHex wasn't able to support more than, I think we had like a dozen ads that we could load into it. We couldn't put more into
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
We launched the software, 53 people came in, and then within like 2 months, we had over 100 clients, and it was like, whoa, we'd never done that before, right? We charged them 297, and they were just running the ads, right? Well, then we started building UpHex up, and we made it so you could put as many ad campaigns as you wanted in there. And so we did the same thing. We built up that library from a dozen that we were constrained to do to over 150, right?
yeah,
And we had to sit down. This conversation was so frustrating because we're like, dude, what happened with our customer churn? It was really good. Then all of a sudden, right about this time, it like doubled. Like what happened? And Jacob actually had to go back and he was doing some nerdy stuff. You know, the nerds, whatever they're doing, you know, he's like, you want to know what happened in the month of March, whatever it was? He goes, we made it so you could add as many templates. And so Heather and I threw in 50 templates that month. And people just became overwhelmed
They can't make a
with
choice.
with
Yeah.
the choice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in our MVP coaching program, there's an entire module in that program called the paradox of choice.
Yep.
And I cover that exact thing that happened. And what we ended up doing, and I don't know if you guys have gotten to this phase in your agency journey yet. I felt so like I was scared to get rid of templates. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It was just a limited belief. And so what we did was we went through and we put an A, like the letter A in parentheses, in front of all of our top ads, right? And A meant approved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we got rid of some of the ones that it's like, dude, one person has used this and they're not even our customer anymore. Get rid of it. Right. So we pared down the tree a little bit, from like 150 to maybe 100. But then we just said, hey, there's literally a dozen that
Yeah.
people use. And going back, if I were to do that again, if I were to build another agency, I would only do a dozen,
Yeah.
right?
Really.
Because
Yeah.
it reflects it resonates out through your entire agency, right? And have you ever seen the Quinn Nolan case study?
No. No.
Okay. You should, it's awesome. Like it's here on the YouTube channel. I've done
Okay.
two with him. This guy took an agency and built it to $25,000 monthly recurring revenue. Guess how many ad templates?
3, 5, 2. Oh my God. Two
Two.
athletes.
Two. And then guess what he did? He got really crazy and he doubled the two to four. But guess what? Guess what? These were short form lead forms and these were long form lead forms. So these
Oh
had
my
four
God.
questions and these had two.
Yeah.
It was the exact same ads. And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, you are,
That's funny.
and he's like, I mean, he's a young kid. He's like 25 or something. I'm like, dude, you figured this out way before
Mhm.
I did. So kudos to you. You less is more. And I always say you need a small library of ads
Mhm.
that are proven and that work. You create them once and you sell them 1,000 times. That's the
Yep.
best model there is,
Yep.
right?
And use the word no strategically.
And use the word no. Exactly. Well, I know we're getting a little bit long in the tooth. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So what I'd like to do on these is I want you to think of yourself as an agency owner, 0 to 6 months, right? You're pre-revenue, or maybe you have a client or two, and you just want to know what are the highest leverage activities I could be doing right now. The gospel as it pertains to Edwin, what would you say is the best thing for a person like that to do every single day to build that agency
Wow, man.
outside of getting UpHex set up properly?
Okay. So I think you have to study your client.
Yes.
You need to know your freaking avatar left to right. You need to know their vocabulary. You need to know how they think, how they breathe, how they wake up, how they go to sleep. You need to know your avatar, but you also need to know their avatar, right?
Mm.
Your client's client, because that's who you're really trying to get, right? For your
That's
client.
right.
So I think those two things are gigantic. Is knowing those two avatars, right? Um, at this point, like today, if I were to do leveraging AI, learning how to use AI in all aspects, I'm talking about from ad copy to pictures to headlines to even your own quote unquote sales script, right? Leverage AI like crazy, right? I don't know, when I started, we didn't have AI like the way we have it today, not even
Right.
close, you
Right.
know. But regardless, leverage AI. Um, um, you know, learn how to subtract instead of add,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be sometimes taking things away is better than adding things to your portfolio or your high level or even your UpHex, right? But don't make it so complex that you're confusing yourself and you're confusing your client, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be complex. Um, or at least if it's complex to you, do not let your client know it's complex. Give him the most or them the most simplest way to use that technology, right? Don't overwhelm your client. Um, and just put your head down and go, right? Stop being
Yeah, man.
afraid. You know, I believe in motivation, but I think discipline to me is much more of a power unit than anything you can have is discipline. Learn to practice discipline, discipline, discipline. And I don't mean wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I mean just have a discipline. You know what I mean? And stick to it, really.
I really like what you said. Learn your customer and learn your customer's customer. And that is and learn their words,
Hmm.
right? My buddy Frankie, in his book he wrote, Beyond the Agency Box, he has one line in that thing that when I was reading it, it just like popped out to me. And he said, good copywriting is accurate.
Yeah.
And with the context of the chapter that he said that, it was all about understanding who you're talking to.
Yep.
And when copywriters often say, jump into the conversation that's happening in your prospect's head. I don't know what that means, right? That means that your customers speak and think in a way that is different than other people,
Hmm.
right? And if you can say the things that they have, their unspoken complexities, right? They will listen to you. And I'll give
Yep.
one example, and then we're gonna wrap up here. I once had an agency tell me a story that he had remembered that the mail was coming that day, like whatever. And I think he got a notification on his phone or something that he had a bill in the mail. And he ran to the mailbox to grab the credit card bill because he didn't want his wife to see the credit card bill and look at it and see another month of subscriptions without an agency that was making any money. And those are the real life scenarios that when you talk about them on your ads, in your marketing, those are what really resonate with people. So I actually took that exact thing and I used it in an ad and it crushed it. Why? Because I was speaking accurately
Mm.
about people who are trying to build an agency.
Yep.
Your copywriting is accurate. Dude, you're the bomb. Appreciate you and Colin. You guys are a great part, a staple of the community. You guys do a lot of value add there. So appreciate you. And for people watching, join the UpHex community if you want to hang out with Edwin. Him and his partner Colin are there. And we do daily workshops. We do all sorts of cool stuff. We have a lot of fun in there, don't we?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the most valuable things every day. I think you have a class every single day.
Daily classes. Yep.
I think that value alone is incredible. Just incredible. I don't know how you guys do it, but I love it.
We love doing it.
I love
And
it.
that's the only reason that we
Yeah,
can do it. So
that's true.
appreciate
100%.
you, buddy. You guys
You
are
got it,
awesome.
man. Thank
And
you,
the
brother.
viewer, go check it out. Check the link in the description below. I got some links to send you to our community and other places you can learn how to do what Edwin and Colin are doing. Rock and roll.